Ready to turn down. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Okay, the delay is on. You're not hearing me yet. Da 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 da.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. How come it's not on yet? There it is. Do you know there's a 12-second delay between StreamYard and YouTube?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a delay.
That was funny. So,
And
good
then the
morning.
notification delay is sometimes a little bit long.
Yes. So, welcome from the land of Wi Fi. I'll tell you, it's a whole new world here. Um, I'm
You're in
Jody.
your home?
I am in the home. I'm not everything's here and most is not unpacked. And the first thing that got set up was the gone room, which I'll take the camera around the room later, the other camera, and my healing room because I had a session the next day. So more the big stuff arrives Wednesday and the boxes are in the garage. It's like bring them in as I can.
Beautiful crown molding trim around the doors and mantle there behind you.
This is a really nice house. Good morning, Anna. Yeah, this house is the newest one I have lived in decades, and it's the first one I have lived in since I came back to Texas 20 years ago that doesn't have mold. That's a gratitude dance right there. Paisley, okay, NH Mountain Dancer, is that New Hampshire or am I getting that wrong? I don't know what that stands for. Tell me. Tell me. Beth Cat. Okay, how come I don't have these people on here as moderators?
Beth
Beth
Cat got an early morning call from Roro. Roro likes to speed dial her.
Roro. Okay, how do I can't put anybody in, how come I can't put people, oh, I have to do it on here. Oh, Beth Cat, there you are. You are a moderator. I'm looking at StreamYard. Can you tell it's been a while since I've been on here as the person? First of all, I want to thank you, Jenn Lynn, for handling all these months of me not being able to get online. Thank you. Um, yeah, I can imagine getting called by New Hampshire. That's what I thought. Yay, New Hampshire. So I'm down here in Arkansas. Anna, you're down there in Texas, aren't you? Okay. We're going to talk about gratitude today. And
We're
we have done
grateful to
this.
have Jody settled in somewhere.
God bless. I know people are looking at me, including the homeowners, like you are staying, right? I'm like, oh God, yes. Yeah, this is one of my homeowners is one of my gong players, which is really cool. He didn't play yesterday. He warmed us up and then, let Carol and I play. And to have people like Gigi, who was my landlord for 3 months, and Nancy and Mark, to have them be like minded, spiritual, shamanic, awake, awake to the bigger picture kind of humans to hang around with. I feel very blessed, to have that. It was just, yesterday was an awareness of, wow, this is very cool. So I'm grateful. And we're going to talk about grateful. And hi, Rose Blue. You're here. Um, we did this a year ago for November.
And I intentionally did not rewatch that. I started to go back and rewatch it. And I was like, nope,
I neither.
I'm gonna leave that in its little.
It's a
Not
year
too long.
later. Nobody's late. No, we are just starting. We're just starting. So this time, I don't know why I got the wild hair to do this. I started Googling research on gratitude. Haven't done that before. And I've got some of those articles posted in the live stream, and I will post it in the video when it actually goes onto YouTube. And it was interesting looking at it because my training in gratitude after looking at the research literally happened shamanically as a child. And my formal shamanic training started 36 years ago. The informal, free range, go outside because it's safe to be in nature training started as soon as I was able to get out the door and into the woods. And I was I was on military bases, so they were deemed safe and we were all free range. And I was in old growth. I mean, I'm an old fart. I was in old growth forests. I was in places with wild animals and interesting energy, and I never got harmed by anything ever. And it wasn't until a couple of years ago that I'm like, that's sort of weird. Like, why? What happened? What was going on? And my spirit guides, who, even though I didn't know them back then, all knew me, are like, you are a part of nature. You've always been a part of nature, and we keep you safe. And so I've had a lot of opportunities to say thank you. And the first lesson I got from the awareness lesson in gratitude was when I got my first digital camera, whenever they came out, over the counter. And I had already been taking pictures with a film camera, and nature is my topic usually, or animals. And I had a habit of saying thank you to nature, lights, the sun, the cat, whoever I was taking a picture of. I had a habit of saying thank you before I took the picture. Ask permission, say thank you. And three of us got digitals at the same time, and three of us were taking pictures of exactly the same subjects one day. And I think it was either a dog or a cat or both. And we were looking at what we were getting, and it was like my pictures were completely different in a more, not quality of digital, but in a vibrant, interactive way with this subject. And they're looking at me like, what are you doing? I said, I'm saying thank you. I'm connecting third eye and heart with the tree or the animal and then taking the picture. And that was my first conscious lesson of how powerful gratitude is, because I do it all the time. It was natural. And I must have been doing that out in the woods as a kid, just saying, thank you, I'm safe out here. Thank you, I'm safe. Because the woods were safer than my human parents. So that was my research into gratitude, and has been so ever since, in taking pictures, because I still take pictures that way. I just go out and say thank you to all the elementals and all fairies and the spirits, and, ask the guides where to point the camera, and boom, there I go. And the pictures are alive in a different way. And it's got nothing to do with technology. I mean, I take pictures on phones. Um, so that was a neat awareness, because I thought about that before I got ready for this. And there is a lot of research done on gratitude and where it comes from. And I think it was the article I posted from Berkeley talked about gratitude as something that is literally hardwired in humans and some animals. In the energy of grateful, we can form bonds of safety and collaboration. And I
when
was mentioning,
it's coming from an authentic place.
yes. And I was telling Jen Lynn that I had an aha awareness about a pattern my mother had when I was a kid that used to drive me nuts. But I'm aware that it was a non healthy version of gratitude. What the Berkeley article mentioned is that, if we show gratitude, if there is a gratefulness about receiving something from the outside world, from another human, the propensity to help each other is going to be more powerful. And my mother was the kind of person that if somebody gifted her something, or gifted the kids, one of us something, we had to give back in kind. There was no heartfelt gratitude. There was this panic coming from her that I have to give something of equal value, or I'm in trouble. And when I look back on her parents, especially her father, I'm like, okay, I can see where that came from. I didn't like it, and I had to reprogram myself to be able to do the gifting thing with gratitude and love, not with, oh my God, it means something bad. But the research talks about survival based on gratitude, and that was a new one for me. I've never looked this up, so
And sometimes, based on what we're going through in life, things happen, and it's hard to figure out, like, what can I be grateful for in this? Like, grief is a big one. When people are going through grief, they've lost a loved one or they've lost a pet or something. I always, you know, in grief, I always thank them, whether it's a pet or a person or whatever, I thank them for blessing my life, for me having the opportunity to know them or to care for them if it was a pet, for coming in and being a part of my life and my experiences. So, yes, you're going to grieve, but you still can find gratitude for having known that person. Like, what would have happened if you hadn't known that person or that pet?
Yeah, and that interestingly, in the articles I skimmed, that's not talked about. There isn't in my world. That's called Heyoka gratitude. The backwards medicine. That is not. It's more of a feeling that's evoked usually from outside of us, or it's a feeling we can evoke inside of us. But the whole topic of, can we practice gratitude in the times that we don't feel grateful? And because for me, if my guides suggested me learning how to do that at a very early age in this process, and it it resonates for me in an intention that I set when I sobered up 36 years ago. I started saying, and back in those days, the word intention wasn't there. My goal is to make everything in my life a ceremony. I had no idea what that meant. I mean, it was not something that was in my linear type A technological way of being in the world. But those are the words that started coming out. And, now that I know who and what I am and all the bigger pictures, like, oh, yeah, okay, thank you, guides, for putting those through my mouth. Um, Being able to say thank you, even when it doesn't feel like gratitude, is actually a powerful frequency shifter. And I use Ho'oponopono because it has thank you in that prayer. I love you, I apologize, or I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. Those are four frequencies, one of which is gratitude. And I have found that when I can consciously use something that will change my frequency into a place of gratitude, even if the crap is hitting the fan, that would be most of this year, I can feel gratitude, and really deep gratitude. And that helps me get out of my own way and my, toxic brain stories, and just go, no, we're going to do gratitude today. Things move better that way. So I don't know if any of you have had experience with that out there.
Our
I'd love to hear.
our souls tend to grow more because we pay attention, I think, more when we're going through difficult times, and those difficult times can be a harder time to tap into gratitude, where a lot of people will fall into that victimhood mentality and can't find something to be grateful for. Some of
Mhm.
our most difficult teachers, if you have a difficult boss or a difficult
Yeah.
friend or difficult family member, they they teach us the most. When you look back on your life, it's like, wow, I
Mhm.
really had a growth spurt there when I think about that experience.
Right.
And you can find a way in reflection to be
Right.
grateful for the experience in hindsight, so to speak. We were talking about the blessings in disguise.
Well, and in my healing practice, which is sound healing and shamanic healing, always combined, I'll do reframes with people, because the story can become toxic if we tell it too often. The
Mhm.
details are needed. And once the details, the data is in a session, I will coach people to say thank you for something about whatever that was, a lesson. And I had to learn to do that myself because my first 10 years were extremely abusive. And I had to really look at that and go, if it wasn't for that, I would not be able to do what I do now in any aspect of my life, my work, anything. So there's a big thank you there.
A lot of times, like when you're reflecting and you're trying to figure out something, to be grateful for in the experience, I similar to you, I had experiences with child abuse, and uh, I find sometimes I have to take a step further back and say, okay, what did I learn from this? What did I learn? And then once I figure out what I learned from it, then I can find things to be grateful
Mhm.
for.
Mhm. Well, and that means that you have a value on learning and growing,
Hmm.
which
Learning and growing, yeah.
I would imagine most of the people that come on to streams like this value that. Um,
Yeah.
One of my number one values is make me the student, let me be the student of life to always learn something new. I don't want to get locked into dogma or rigidity of form. And
There are no mistakes. It's always what we learn.
exactly. Heart math, which was my most recent gratitude teacher teaching through Greg Braden, because that's who I first heard of heart math through many, many years ago. Um, Heart math, when they were Greg's first book, which is out of print and I can't find it. I wish I'd kept it. But he talked about the original research that HeartMath did in measuring frequencies of Mother Earth and frequencies of love, and they were identical. And by the time I revisited HeartMath later in the years, and it had become a tool that we could use, out here in the world, instead of having us focus on love, and I have that meditation is what we're going to do in the music. Instead of focusing on love to activate the heart cells, they focus on things like appreciation, excuse me, gratitude, caring, that kind of stuff. And what Greg said in one of his workshops, I think it was when I saw him in Dallas, he said, what Heart Math learned over the years is that if you ask people to go into a state of love feelings in their heart, there can often be baggage tied up in that. Like, say somebody just died, or your last relationship wasn't the most loving. So they found that there was baggage in evoking that emotion. It was just a little too broad and supercharged. And they focused on things that were more easier to touch, I guess. And gratitude was one of them. And one of the definitions of gratitude is appreciation of something. So it's interesting to see how it crosses even in definitions. And the heart math methodology has studied and found that in our hearts, like not the heart chakra, but in our hearts, we actually have a set of cells, about 40,000 of them, that are like brain neurons, or the same kind of cell. And breathing into the heart can start the activation involving appreciation, gratitude, and care will literally turn the light switch on. See my little light switches back here? Turn the light switches on in the heart cells to wake them up and activate them. And after that, that frequency is breathed up into the brain cells because these guys are the ones that are usually running the stories or or oh my god, this happened and that's happening and this could happen and that did back there. The brain is a little easier to distract with what we call um, and gratitude supercharged in the heart and directed up here with about 5 minutes of practice, 5 minutes a day, you can go into a state of coherence or harmony and literally train yourself to be in a vibrational frequency of gratitude, which is a little different than I'm going to go out there and be grateful and say thank you. They all work really well together because all these articles are talking about your keep it gratitude journal, write a letter to somebody you didn't say thank you to that you could. And I mean, these are all really good ideas. And I've had gratitude pages before and gratitude in all groups that I run. breathing it is powerful. You change your body chemistry and your body frequency. So we get to do that later. I do it all the time for those of you who know me. So we'll do that later. Okay, Mountain. Okay, we're reading comments now. I just told about
It's interesting to yeah, I always say, like, take time to reflect, to go back and reflect on something to see what you
Mhm.
learned from it, what, why maybe you were supposed to go through that. um but don't live in the past. Like, so take time to go back, look at it, and then find gratitude for what you learned and where you move forward to in your life. Find a way to look at it, but don't go back and just live in it and wallow in it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's in meditation we're taught to be here now. So if we're focused on the past or scared about the future, we're not here now. We're not present.
Yeah.
Um, I'm watching and supporting a friend whose dog has been on a dying path, and her and our way of being with this, rather than take it to the vet and put it down, which was a choice, has been be present. And she's saying I have not known this animal for very long. She's saying thank you, and thank you, hi kitty person, and thank you for the time they've had, and the beauty they've had, and whatever they've had. And that gratitude, like one day I'm talking to the third person going, something feels different out there, and like the dog could live, like what happened? And she goes, yeah, I'm feeling the same thing. Something changed. And then a couple of days ago, somebody gave her dog a kitten. Speaking of the little one that's now listening.
Came up for the story. Right, right, right.
Yes, Roro, we got you in the story. And she's sending us pictures of this ill dog with this itty bitty kitten that is obviously the dog's familiar. It's obviously there in a complete ball of love. And everybody in the house is like, we can breathe. We have, like, the angel walked in fur. It's amazing. So there's a lot of gratitude going on in that circle of animal and human. So it's been really
That's cat
cool.
can tell you. Did she have gratitude when Roro called her early this morning?
How
usually, it's
early is
usually
early?
it's after midnight. So I was grateful. I was grateful Roro waited till daylight to call.
So how does she dial the phone?
She speed dials. If my phone is lit up, Beth's on my home screen in a speed dial location, and she steps on it and calls. She's got other buttons she could step on, other apps. No, she speed dials Auntie Beth.
She knows it's Auntie Beth speed dial. Okay. That's
She's like,
hysterical.
I need to check in on Auntie Beth. Let me see. Let her know how my morning's going.
So Auntie
All of a
Beth,
sudden, I just start hearing Beth talking on the phone, yelling, "Jen, Jen," and I'm like, "Oh God, Roro's dialed her."
oh, that's she wants to talk to you. So Beth Cat, do you ever talk to her third eye and just heart talk?
I had her on a video call one day with her. I said, "Roro, there's your Auntie Beth. You get to see her."
Aw, you actually said hi to her.
And it's only Roro that does it. It's really funny.
That is so funny. Animals are so cool. Um, I've had interesting experiences with animals being grateful. Um,
Oh, if you've
the
ever rescued a cat that's comes in
Yeah,
and they're like, "Oh,"
yeah, I
yeah, you,
have.
you see gratitude all over
Yes,
at
my
an
first
animal.
cat was 6 months old, and he had been rejected by three owners. By the time I met him, one of my friends worked at the veterinarian office, and she's like, okay, somebody's brought him back for being too wild, too sick, too some, whatever the somethings were. And I picked this little guy up. I had not had a pet. I mean, I had not had a pet. Picked him up, little tiny orange tabby, and held him to my face, so I could see him like up close and personal. And he reaches over and kisses my nose, and I'm like, that was it. I was in love, And he never, ever did any of the weird things he was accused of doing. He just hadn't found his human yet.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was really cool. Um, yeah, practice it, Beth Cat. It'll be interesting to see. She might call more. Um, I lived on a ranch during the middle of a drought in Texas that the cabin that I moved into had been vacant for 2 years. And the deer herd that was under Louise's matriarchy, that was where they hung out and slept. The females and the babies were all up in that beautiful tree, grassy area.
Mhm.
And I knew Louise had been raised by humans because the place used to be a retreat center. And I came into that and, third eye, because, that's the way to talk to them. They're very much like horses, by the way. I came into that and I said, okay, this is your home. This is your territory on the 400 acres. And I'm the visitor. So I am now in deer school. You're going to teach me how to be with you. You're going to teach me how to do this because, I never want to come in and go, I'm a human and my way's the right way. And it was the most amazing interchange of gratitude and anger, which was interesting because the drought was so bad that very quickly me and my friends realized we needed to feed the animals because the babies were dying. And I'd get donations from my Facebook friends and I'd bring in 50-pound bags of feed once a week. And they would be running around my truck as I'd come down the 2 miles of the driveway, like, yay. And what was interesting was being able to feel the frequency of gratitude from the animals and the anger from some of them at a human being the one that fed them because it was not natural, it was unnatural. And Louise, a matriarch in a deer herd, is the one that does all the nurturing and all the guarding and all the alerting. She's the one. She was the one in charge. And I would watch her behavior when something alerted her, and I would just go stand next to her. Like, okay, I'm watching the same thing you're watching, and I'd be talking to her throughout. You do know I can't see diddly squat out there. And she goes, yeah, but it looks good. You're helping me. Thank you. And then they groom each other's, they lick each other's necks. The males do that with the males. The females do that with babies and females. And it's a way of nurturing. And nobody would ever give her that. She was the one that always had to give. So after a morning of all of that, because there was like 37 of these things, I just, I was standing next to her and I just reached over and gently scratched her neck in the same area that they said hello to each other. And she did the same thing up my arm, obviously couldn't reach the neck. And number one, deer tongues are like giant cat tongues. They're rough. They're really cool.
Oh man.
It was really cool, but it was just such a beautiful gratitude. For me, it's gratitude of having the experience, and for her, it was gratitude of being able to go back to being her inner child got nurtured. Let me put it that way, to use my terminology, and it didn't lower her, her leadership in the herd. It was just a moment where she could take a break and breathe. So it was really cool. It was a neat lesson for 2 years.
I can't imagine feeling a deer tongue on my skin. I felt cat tongues many times, quite rough.
They're huge. Literally, it's not dog tongue; it's a cat tongue.
Except for Lucy. Lucy's got a little smoother tongue, which is funny because
Mm.
Lucy likes smaller bites of food. She doesn't like big bites of anything. I think it may be because her tongue's not as rough as most cats.
Huh.
He doesn't have that ability, I think, to break down big bites. So
That's interesting. That
for
is
such a
interesting.
big cat, she likes little
Nice
bitty
little
bites
bitty
of
one.
things.
She's dainty.
She's
Hi,
dainty.
Kathy. You're here. Hello, hello. Good morning. I know it's like early. I haven't even had my first cup of coffee. I don't know what's wrong with this picture.
I'm having iced coffee and hot coffee both.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, I found my big coffee cup in what I've unpacked so far. Yay. So so I've asked people to talk about gratitude before we got here. Where are my pictures? And I took a picture of what people said. And Jane LaMayer 2 weeks ago. Thank you for collaborating in such a powerful, under-addressed avenue because what we honor increases, aho, or conversely, what we curse comes back to us. So let's bless our lives, each other, magnify all our blessings, and behold a magical future of love and unity. Thank you, Jane.
It's pretty much whatever energy you're putting out is what you're going to get back. The universe will reflect it back to you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, my remote viewing group, we do shamanic journey a lot in there. The bigger picture is sort of like what you guys do on Sunday night. We do it in that group privately, and there's a lot of dissonant energy in the world right now, and we were asking the guides the question of how can we, because it's a little group, how can we make a difference? Really, I mean, come on, you know, and what they said was a version of gratitude of create a different timeline. Create one, the one that Jane is talking about of magic and love and unity and gratitude, and not Pollyanna and pretend this stuff doesn't exist, but choose a different reality and then put our energy and because we all do music, put our broadcast into that frequency. So yeah, thank you, Jane. That was a good reminder. Renee Pryor is talking about verbally thanking our Heavenly Father and Mother for allowing her to help others. Listening, offering hugs, allowing laughs, tears, and gifting. I do inner child work in my healing practice, and I never did have physical children, so I had to learn this over the years of inner children. And what I've learned is listening and energetically hugging and allowing all emotions in a safe container is the way people feel safe, inner kids feel safe. So yeah, it's very
what if
simple.
what a simple expression of gratitude, a hug. Thank you. It's a oh, thank you.
Yeah. I had new people in my gong bath yesterday, and one of them, was like sitting here crying, looking at me like, I don't know why this is happening. It was happening because two of her dead relatives visit her, or I know it was a pet and a relative. And, and I'm like, I had to pay really good money to get my tears back. So I create a safe container for tears. And the person who was playing with me said, yep, first time I walked in your house, I just started crying because it was like I finally could. So being able to witness that without shutting it down, oh, don't cry, don't cry. Don't ever do that to anybody. Just breathe, breathe. It's going to trigger us. Breathe and let them cry and hold space. That's the most important thing we can do.
I
Okay.
am grateful for how cute Roro looks playing with my Christmas tree, but I will not be grateful if she breaks an ornament.
Roro, there's a boundary.
There's a boundary, Roro.
So, Pat Lee, you have something I finally realized a number of years ago. I express gratitude to every retail clerk I deal with by saying thank you. I hope everyone is nice to you today. That what I have observed in me in the old days, the dysfunctional old days, people who are the anonymous helpers, clerks, service people on the phone are really easy to attack when we're upset. And I've done that in the past. And I, in my gratitude practice, decided it was time to start saying thank you to them. And it really is amazing how it changes my day to do that. And I have had people on the phone, especially on the phone, because it's Monday morning and I've got a problem with whatever, or Friday afternoon, I'm trying to figure out how I get my trash picked up in the new house, and I'm on the phone with Lynn. And I mean, I'm just like, okay, tell me how I do it. I've already gotten lost and gone to the wrong place. And I mean, we were laughing so hard by the end of that conversation. She's going, open your map, I'll show you how to find us. I mean, we get a better interaction. And I have had people thank me because I have reset a very crappy day where
Same
customers yelled at them.
same for waiters, waitresses.
Same thing.
When people travel, traveling can be stressful. It's tiring, it's draining, it can be stressful. And your flight attendants and your people at the ticket counters and the people in security, they're just doing their job. And if you just take a minute, to breathe in, relax, smile, tell them thank you, hope you have a good day, rest of your day, whatever. It makes such a difference sometimes to people that are dealing with some nasty people during the day.
Right. It does. And I end up getting better answers.
Mhm.
I mean, it's interesting. Everybody says something different, which is also interesting. I mean, okay, all of you who know me know I have been without Wi-Fi for 3 months. I've been in Wi-Fi jail, which has been somewhat traumatic because this is what I do. And the first day the Wi-Fi got turned on in this house, it was 10 days before I moved in. They were working on the floors and I had it turned on. And and I we tested everything. I had all my devices here, and then I took the modem out of the wall and brought it to the other house with me because people were still working and painting in here. I get a phone call from this little small town company. Um, we know it was on because we saw it come on, but it disappeared. Is there a problem? Do we have to send out a technician? And it took me three different people to get them to understand that there was no problem. I had just unplugged this little puppy and brought it home with me, and it would be plugged back in when the house was, available for that. And they're just like, okay, well, let us know you need us. And I'm like, I haven't seen customer service like that in a while. It's really cute. Like, there's a problem.
Sometimes, like, things will happen where you have to remember you're not put in the world alone. There are others that can help you. Um, Big reminder of that on Saturday. We had horrible windstorms here that knocked my power out in the morning. It was out all day.
Oh,
Beth
wow.
Cat in chat. I couldn't get on Skype to contact someone who was outside the US that I had an appointment with for a reading, a personal reading, and couldn't do it. So I uh, called Beth Cat. I was so grateful she was at home, had her computer up, was able to like log into my Skype account to send a message. Hey,
Wow.
I'm writing this for Jenn Lynn. She's got a
Oh,
power outage. She's gonna have to reschedule. um, but it's like sometimes when things happen, if you just remember there are people that can help you if you just take a minute and pause, as opposed to going into panic mode. Oh no, I'm going to miss my appointment. Um,
mm-hmm.
so felt very blessed and grateful, that I caught her before she was out of her house.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
just little things like that sometimes can throw your day. It's like, oh no, how am I going to reach this person outside of the US?
Well, and that's what a lot of a gratitude practice is about: is remembering that we can ask for help and thanking people for the
And
fact that
I
they
was
are helping.
grateful I remembered my Skype password to give to her to log in for me, because I hadn't. Yeah, I'm always logged into it. I hadn't logged in so long. I'm like, I don't know if I remember my password. We're gonna try this first.
So I want to read one more thing that somebody posted in the question that I asked. Lori Ann Hancock. the bumper sticker formula. Gratitude equals attitude equals altitude. Raise your frequency. I like that one. Have you made those yet, Lori? I'd buy one of those. I go right next to the dragon on the back of my truck. Okay. North Texas, Friday through Saturday. Okay. Yo, you were just in the tornadoes too, Rose Blue. I moved here from North Texas. Yeah, I have found people up here in Arkansas that do the weather work with Mother Earth the way I do. And all three of us were like in our closets with tornado warnings coming right at us, like on our, like, okay, we're going to do this. And I've already played the storm gong, and yeah, here, look at that link. And I mean, it was hysterical because somebody who is a client of mine who's up where you are right now, Jen, the next morning, he's like, you all dissipated that. I'm like, yeah, and thank you for your help because I know you were helping. It's like, poof, it all went away. So I'm telling the other two, thank you. We did good before anything had to hit us up here. It's wild. So you got the other end of that. So are we almost ready for ceremony? Do any of you out there before we do ceremony, anybody in the live stream want to make a comment about gratitude? I'm seeing a lot of you talk about things you're grateful
Hey,
for.
Pamela. Yeah, I'm like Pamela. I worked in retail for so many years that I can really appreciate someone that's making an effort and giving good service, or having a rough day because maybe the person before I walked up to the counter was rude or something. So,
Yeah.
doesn't mean I'll tolerate when somebody's really nasty to me,
Mm-hmm.
but I'll pause them a little bit sometimes and say, I hope you have a better day.
Well, and oftentimes when we get into that being nasty thing is because the squirrel cage up here has taken over and it's just
Yeah, it takes you up there with it.
and to be able to have, I mean, it doesn't work all the time. There's a lot of weird energy out there right now, but oftentimes we can just help reset them by,
Presence of mind. Be
yes,
present.
yeah,
Presence of mind. Pause. Be present.
exactly. Well, if there's no comments out there, and thank you, New Hampshire Mountain Dancer. Um, okay, for ceremony today, I'm living in a house that has stone slate floors and curved archways all over the place. And the acoustics in here are like being in a cave. So when I sound checked everything at the crack of dawn this morning, I'm like, ooh, StreamYard and music over the internet don't work. So I literally had to record on my iPad to get music for today, which, I did gratitude. So I will be bringing in a video that I made, and you
For
get to do
ourselves, man.
research. Yeah. So, and for the music part, but boy, I'll tell you, the quality is great. It worked out really good. I am grateful.
That you were able to do a video that you could upload.
Well, I'll tell you, doing it live was going to suck big time. It was like, this has got nothing to do with my technology. I'm finding that in this house is that it's like, I used to play in a cave. I played in a cave for 8 years in Texas. And there's an echoey reverb thing that happens in a cave that the technology in StreamYard cannot overcome. So everything was distorted. And I'm just like, that could be a problem. Help. So
I'm laughing at Pamela. She's saying, I am just grateful. Pamela, did you just have breakfast? Are you full now?
Yum. Have on headphones. Yeah, the headphones will work. The thing that I have found about recording all 10 gongs, because all 10 of them are in here, is the best recording device I have is my iPad. Go figure. And yesterday was the first gong out in the house, and it's the first time in all the years that I've had any houses and all these gongs that we have been able to play all 10 of them in one room. They were quite excited, especially the three little ones that I usually throw out. They were just like, "Oh my God, we're in the gone bath."
Before we go into the meditation, like, I'm assuming like you like a little resonance, you like, to have a little bit of echo, but do you find with that many gongs, like you have to put some fabric on the walls to absorb a little bit so you don't get too much echo?
It's not the walls; it's the floor. It's
Oh, the
stone.
slate
It's
floor.
stone down there. No, not when I'm playing the gong
Rugs, are you
bath.
going to
I
have to
don't.
put rugs down?
Oh God, no. Though it may be an idea if I'm gonna, I don't know, if I'm playing bowls in here and trying to record live, I would probably have to throw a rug down. That would be a good idea. I mean, I'm not covering this beautiful stone with rug in here. And the gong bath yesterday, I mean, the acoustics for everybody. I had the diehard. I had like half people who've never been in a gong bath, and the other half are like, "Give me more. It wasn't strong enough." And I'm like, guys, we can don't scare the newbies away. You want them to come back. So yeah, it was pretty funny. And it was like everybody's like, okay, there's a medium. There were two of us playing, so there's a middle ground out there somewhere. But I like the sound of playing in a cave. I loved that. The ring out goes on for a really long time. It's just that I haven't tried Zoom yet, but StreamYard's technology can't handle it.
It's sort of
Um,
the cathedral effect.
mhm.
It was interesting. There's a guy that I watch on YouTube that plays classical guitar and lutes, and he plays with a lot of symphony orchestras and stuff like that. Yet he bought this new lute in Spain, and just sitting in a normal room, it gave you this effect of this resonance of playing in a cathedral. And
Yeah.
I don't know how else to describe it other than the way it resonated. You would think he was sitting like up in the front of a church playing the way it
Yes. I have
um,
played in churches like that, and they've been concrete floor church. Yeah, I mean, it's
filled the
interesting.
space. Yeah, but it was really interesting. It was the way
Mhm.
it was constructed. It did that. I
Mhm.
was like, wow, that is just
Well,
incredible.
and we had, I mean, I make like a tube chamber, like gongs facing each other, and as long as the room goes, and I'm in there playing with Carol, and I'm just like, why is it so hot? It's called hot. It's hot, the hot energy sonically because the stone is doing it, but there's something about so many curves in here because the room that had the strongest sound was the little tiny room on the side with one gong facing it and then the whole chamber. And no matter what gong was played, you can hear it stronger in that small room. And it's curved archways in two directions. I mean, it was weird.
Yeah,
And this is part of getting to know a place, that it's going to be
sure.
different, definitely.
So I just had to ask you about the sound especially because you've got those big beautiful gongs, which I just love the resonance of. For those that are new watching and stuff, and maybe thinking about getting instruments to play in their home, does it? I know for me, like you walk in an empty house, before any furniture's in it, and everything just echoes. It just
Yeah. Well, in this living room, the only furniture in it is the chair I'm sitting on, which moves out of here, and gongs. The side room will have furniture when it's delivered Wednesday, and that may tone it down a bit. But I don't. I tend not to put furniture in the same room as the instruments. So I don't know. We'll see.
but maybe the purple lighted tree, right?
Okay, this is funny. The purple lighted tree. I don't know if I can't get it back there. I put it in the healing room in the other house because it was cool, and I wasn't going to do that in this house. So I'm setting it up, and I'm getting everything ready for a session the first thing the next morning, and I hear her come through. Where's the tree? And I'm like, oh crap, she's gonna kill. So I had to rearrange everything, get the tree back behind the massage table, and she walks in the next morning and she goes, "Oh, good, my tree's still here." I said, "Yeah, I heard you last night." So
I
I am going to
heard
have
you.
to. I'm going to have to buy another one to put in this room. It's really it's in
So
demand.
we'll do our candle lighting. Anyone that wants to join and light from home, I know people rewatch these. The meditation, we'll have the time stamp is about 10:50 into this video. And then Jodi's going to play us her video with the music.
My video is about 11 and a half minutes long, so we're going to be hair light.
Okay. So, Archangel Raphael, Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Ariel, and to the Hathors, thank you for making us mindful of messages from Spirit. Thank you for making us mindful of things that we have to be grateful for. Thank you for helping us to grow through our gratitude, recognizing those blessings in disguise that we may not realize are blessings and something to be grateful for until later. Thank you for magnifying our blessings through gratitude. And thank you for growing our appreciation and awareness for all of our life experiences.
With a heart math coherence meditation set to music. It's something I do all the time, and gratitude is usually the frequency I use. So we'll use that today. So the first thing you do is you put a hand on your heart and heart chakra and breathe. Follow the sound of the heart bowl into this part of your body. And as you breathe, slow the rate of breathing down. Keep it comfortable, just slow it down. Make it mindful. So you're getting into a rhythm of sound and breath and heart. And then in your heart mind, Take a deeper breath and gently come back into your body and the room. And set your intention on what part gratitude plays in your life today.
Bella just loves the chimes.
I remember that.
They're like nowhere in sight, and the gongs start, and I've got Skewy here on the table and Bella behind me. They've been playing. I had to put the candle over here to the side because kittens were everywhere.
That was great. I
She
love it. The
she
top of your
just
head is tingling.
freezes as soon as she hears those chimes. She's like, "What? What?"
Ooh. And I only brought one out. I'm going to have to apologize to her and remember to bring more of those out.
I have some beautiful cathedral chimes on my front porch.
Yes.
And on warm days, I leave my front door open. I have this storm door
Yeah.
there, and she'll just sit there and just stare at them because it's
Oh,
always breezy here. It's always got a
yeah.
wind.
Yeah.
It's all cool now.
Thank you. We didn't talk about what we've each got going on, and I know you have something, and I have something to announce that I'm going to be doing too. Now that we have Wi-Fi, yippee! So
Yes.
tomorrow
Uh,
night you
Tomorrow
have.
night, Tuesday night, election night, live on my channel. We've got 8 of us readers getting together, and it's a fundraiser for World Central Kitchen. Chef Andre has been down in Florida helping with the hurricane relief. He's over in Ukraine. He's in Poland helping refugees. They're awesome. So we're doing another fundraiser for them, and there's a few Florida charities that are a little iffy. So I wanted to make sure I was doing a fundraiser with someone who's reputable. So that's tomorrow night. Anybody getting nervous about the elections, come hang with us, and we'll try to have some fun and keep people's minds off what's going on.
What time are you starting?
8 Eastern time,
So 7 Central.
7 Central.
And do you have a planned cutoff time, or just whenever it's time?
No,
Time.
we did this a couple of years ago on election night. Did a live, and I think we had about 8 or 9 readers with us then. Some of the readers that are on the East Coast may sign off earlier, and some of the
Mhm.
ones that are further
Mhm.
west may stay on a little longer. So
Okay.
we'll just see how long we've got energy to hang out.
Okay. Good. Because
If nothing else, we'll go into food talk.
yeah, my remote viewing group is meeting tomorrow night because of the occasion of the lunar eclipse, election, et cetera, et cetera. So I'll come on late to see. What I'm going to start, I'm offering voice analysis with my live shamanic sound work, and I am going to do a meditation of sorts on the 3 Mondays that we do not meet. So it's going to be 10 o'clock Central Time. And it's going to be a meditation. And this is where, if anybody wants to audience participate ahead of time, find my email under my about section, because what I'm going to do is a voice analysis on global intentions, like
Interesting.
world peace, for example, because those have frequencies. And I can get a frequency file that I can, that's not going to translate anyway. It's like chimes and bell. Your cat will love it. Chimes and bells in the frequency file, and what's playing underneath are the frequencies for the affirmation. And if people want to participate ahead of time, I will record you saying the affirmation so I get your voice file, and that's what we'll play. And then I'm going to be playing live instruments over it, whatever.
Wow.
And it's going to be about a 30-40 minute meditation, but my intention is to broadcast affirmations out in a way that's more powerful than what I've already been doing, because I've been doing this for people in private sessions. So if anybody has world, big, global, this isn't personal healing, this is global kind of stuff, just let me know. The last time I did this in a group, it was a gong bath, and the affirmation, it was the last full moon actually. The affirmation was, um, I walk in beauty for the highest good of Mother Earth and all her relations, because the beauty frequency was a contradiction to the chaos of that full moon. So we're going to be focusing on that kind of stuff, and that'll be 3 Mondays a month, and then we'll have this one
Awesome. I
on
love that.
Thursday. It's good. Yeah, so we can.
So you're going to need people to constantly give you affirmations.
Yeah, I mean, I can come up with my own. That's not a problem. And I am really big on getting people. For my idea of building community is getting community
Involved too.
contribution and
Yeah,
involvement.
I
And
love that.
I mean, that's how we grow as a community. And, I mean, Tony and I talked about this when we were talking and she was recording me. I mean, we got work to do, big time work to do on this planet, regardless of how elections pan out. We have frequency to put into the quantum field.
Yeah.
And
Tony has such a beautiful voice too
I
to do
know.
the words with.
I know. So
I
anybody
always tease her. I
interested?
always call her the voice. She's
Oh
got such a
gosh,
great voice.
she's got a beautiful voice. So anybody interested in playing with that, just email me. My about page has everything. Just email me and let me know, and I'll remember to put the email underneath this one too when it goes on to YouTubular.
But I love
And
that you're making it global. Is because we as readers we focus so much on the U.S. because of politics and everything, and we throw in occasionally some readings on things that are going on in other countries, but most of the time we're focused here. I love that you're broadening it out to a global perspective.
I have a teeny tiny Twitter account, not even under my name, it's under my Zen name. And I intentionally found my way into an international photography sacred circle. And I'm thinking of starting this on Facebook because I have more friends on there. What these people do is they are like, ooh, today is going to be Rose Wednesday. So everybody post a picture of your roses in the stream and share with each other. And that is the most international group of people. They don't do this kind of work. They don't do sacred shamanic work, but they're doing sacred shamanic work. The beauty is stunning,
Oh wow,
and
I
it's
can imagine.
all over the world. And I'm looking at this going, yeah, we need to be way more global. We Americans can be a little mono focused here. So it's been a really good lesson in expanding my viewpoint through beauty. So it's been fun. It's been a neat way to be of service in that kind of platform
And
by posting beauty.
uplifting.
It's
Yeah.
very uplifting. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm always looking for ways to pray differently into the field. That's what I'm about with music and photography. So,
Well,
okay.
let's see. Next month we'll be back on my channel.
Yep.
In December, we're going back into our usual alternating channels now that Jodi is settled. So we'll have Jodi for the new year. We'll have Jodi for the new year in January. We'll be on my channel first Monday in December, which is, if I have a calendar here,
Let me look at my calendar. Let me find my calendar. What Monday is that? Oh,
December 5th.
oh yeah. Oh, I already have that down. Okay, we'll come up with a topic.
And then we'll be on Jodi's channel on January 2nd, right after New Year's Day.
Yep. Okay.
So we'll come up with a topic.
Heal the Texas grid. God, I was there. I was there. I was still living there for the big freeze. I'll tell you one thing, Arkansas deals with freezes better than Texas.
I think everybody does because, somebody isn't
Yeah,
putting the money back into the infrastructure.
I know. I know. Yeah, I was staying with friends when I was down there this year that their house froze in places and everything blew up in a few places, and that they had just gotten it fixed like what, a year and a half later. Took a long time. Heal that. Okay,
I find
so
it
I'm
interesting
gonna.
here, like we'll go minus 20 degrees in the winter and not lose our power or anything. We get a windstorm Saturday and I'm out of power most of the day. It's like, it
Okay,
wasn't
so
even storming that much.
all of you who are giving me ideas, email me and expand on that.
Yeah, the Amazon
Yeah, just
rainforest.
expand on what you mean by that. Let's get a little more specific in the intentions here. Yeah, just give me some more info. These are really good ideas. Yeah, healing blessings to Gaia. Boy, amen. Okay, we are way late.
Thank you, Jodi.
Thank
Always a
you.
pleasure.
See
Thank
you
you,
guys
everyone, for joining us
soon.
today.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.